You are good to go, Mr. Mayor.
Very good. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the city council meeting of November 7th, 2022 to order at 7 o'clock. And with that, we will move on. On Friday, we are celebrating Veterans Day. And so I have asked our own Emily Beach, our council member Emily Beach, to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance since she is a veteran.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Appreciate the honor. If everybody who's able could stand, if you're able to join us, hand over your heart. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Councilmember Beach, and thank you for your service.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
And with
My
that,
pleasure.
we'll move on to the roll call.
Councilmember O'Brien,
Present.
Councilmember Beach,
Present.
Councilmember Colson. I believe she's having difficulty signing on. Vice Mayor Brownrigg,
Here.
Mayor Ortiz.
Here, and I know hopefully Councilmember Colson will be able to join us, but if not, we will figure it out. So with that, I move on to a report from our closed session, and I pass it on to our city attorney, Mr. Michael Guina.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. There was no reportable action from tonight's closed session. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Guina. And with that, I have a few things to read for upcoming events. First
Mayor
of all,
Ortiz, I'd like
Yes.
to just acknowledge that Councilmember Colson is now on this call as well.
welcome, Councilmember Colson. Thank you. And with that, I'm going to read a few of the events that I have. The Parks and Recreation Department is hosting a Kids Night Out event on Friday, November 18th from 6 to 9 at the community center. Enjoy a night out with your friends without worrying about finding a babysitter. To register, go to burlingame.org. Save the date. Join the city of Burlingame for the holiday tree lighting Friday, December 2nd at 5 p.m. in front of City Hall. Now, this is one of the best events in town, so please come join us. And then I have from our friends at the Library Teen Advisory Board and BHS Students Against Wrongful Convictions Club present a special United Against Hate Week movie screening of Just Mercy on Saturday, November 19th at 5 p.m. All teens are invited and movie snacks will be provided at this in-person event at the Lane Community Room. And on Wednesday, November 30th at 6 p.m., join us for another in-person event, The Flying Fortress and the Star Lifter, Memories of Wartime Veterans. Join us as two local aviators recall their experiences during the World War II and the Vietnam War. Also, our city clerk has asked me to remind everybody that tomorrow we have an election. So please, if you haven't done so already, please go and vote. Megan, would you like to say anything else about the election?
Yeah, just you have till 8 p.m. We have two voting centers in the city. One is at City Hall and the other's at the new community center. So it's a good time to check that out while you're there. As well, there's three 24-hour drop-off boxes. So if you run out right now, you can get it in one of those. There's one on Broadway, one outside of City Hall, and one outside the community center. And of course, when you vote in person, you can also pick up your I voted sticker that was designed by our students instead of the traditional sticker that every other city in the county will have. So we're a little bit cooler than that.
So just a reminder, that was a contest that we ran, the city clerk ran, and we had a lot of entries and we had 4 winners and they're just spectacular. So thank you for that. So no excuse for voting today and tomorrow, the last few days. So thank you, Madam City Clerk. And with that, colleagues, anybody else have any additional? I see no hands raised. So with that, we'll move on to presentations. And like we were talking about on Friday is Veterans Day. And it's a good time to remember the service of many individuals who have spent much time serving our armed forces and supporting our, I would say, our way of life and our liberty. So with that, I would like to see if any of our nominees are online. We have Mr. Michael Barber. I don't know if he's online.
Michael is online.
Great. So Mr. Barber was in the U.S. Army in the regular commission as field artillery. Then he enlisted in the reserves in 1982 to 1985 in basic training at Fort Leonard Wood in Missouri. Then he had active duty from 85 to 92 as a lieutenant to captain, and then reserves from 92 to 94. What do I have to say? Captain Barber, thank you for your service. I don't know if you would like to say a few words.
No, thank you for recognizing folks that served. Never thought much of it when I served. So, but Emily called me up and asked me to step up. So I did.
Well,
At the time, I didn't think anything of it. It was just something I did. So.
Well, thank you. We appreciate your service and hope we didn't keep you from the swim for coming here tonight. So thank you, sir. With that, we'll move on to Dennis Moyer, who's retired Coast Guard helicopter pilot, and he's currently a volunteer with BNN. Is Mr. Moyer online?
He is not online.
Very good. Thank you for your service, Mr. Moyer. And next we have Mr. Andrew Pucci, who is United States Marine Corps reservist. Mr. Pucci also works as a maintenance working one at the Street, Storm and Drain and Sewer Division of Public Works. So I don't know if Mr. Pucci's on.
We have an Andrew with no last name, which Megan, maybe you can promote Andrew no last name and see if that is Andrew Pucci. Andrew, you're on.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Andrew, I don't know if you heard what we just said. We just want to say thank you for your service, and we're really glad that you could join us tonight. So,
Yes, sir. Thank you for that. Appreciate it. I love it. So I love everything about it. So I'm honored to serve the country and help serve the city of Burlingame. So I appreciate you recognizing that. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Have a great evening, and thanks for your service.
You too. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor,
Okay.
we'll be mailing all of the certificates out to our recipients this evening, once we get your signature on them.
Very good. Thank you. And okay, so we'll just work that out. So with that, thank you very much. And again, so this is just a representation. We just want to say thank you to all veterans for your service, and we've deeply appreciated. So with that, we will move on to our public comment. This is public comment for items that are not on the agenda. So Madam City Clerk, if you could take it over.
Ricardo, Mr. Mayor, there's a hand raised.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't see that one. Who is it from?
From Councilmember Beach, I think had her hand up.
Oh, I'm sorry, Emily. I missed that. Councilmember Beach, please.
No, thank you, Mr. Mayor, but I think Vice Mayor Brownrigg had his hand up as well. I don't know if he wanted to say something, but I want to just thank all the folks we honored tonight. I don't know the details of the other two service members, but so appreciative that Andrew is here tonight too. But I just wanted to also touch base. I do know a little bit more about Michael Barber's service, and not only did he serve in the armed forces, but he served as one of the longest standing trustees in the Burlingame School District for many years as an elected official. And as far as his military service, pretty amazing. He was Army Ranger Tab. That is one of the hardest core accomplishments of really understanding infantry tactics, and he's really an amazing public servant. So just wanted to thank him for his years in the reserves and on active duty. And thanks to all the other veterans that we honored tonight.
Thank you. Thank you, Councilmember Beach. Thank you for the color. Councilmember or Vice Mayor Brownrigg.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We really do support and salute all forms of public service. So I certainly echo your remarks with Councilmember Beach's. I thought you might want to just briefly let people know what you'll be doing on Friday, which is a further recognition of some of our older veterans in over at the Truesdale, I think, right?
Yeah, so on Friday, I'm not remember exactly the time. I believe it was 11 o'clock. We will be meeting at the Truesdale to recognize some of the veterans that are there. And we have a few recognition that we're bringing to them. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Are you going to join me, Mr. Vice Mayor?
I plan to at this point. I've got to rejuggle something, but I just wanted folks to know we do this as often as we can.
Thank you for that. Councilmember Colson.
Thank you. And I just wanted to mention, so Dennis Moyer, Dennis is someone I nominated. I had the opportunity to meet him through the BNN, and he's retired Coast Guard, lives with his wife on Park, and was a helicopter, and he did medical work, EMT work, I believe, helicopter rescue specialist. And I just am always so amazed in understanding how fortunate we are as a community to have these retired military people living in our community, because especially when you look at like BNN and sort of what would happen in an emergency, having their skills and organizational and sort of overall talent here in our community, I think just is just such a blessing. So I'm sorry he couldn't be here tonight. I sort of submitted this last minute when I got the email, and so we didn't get a chance to talk, but I did text him to let him know that we honored him. He can look at the tape, and then thank you for sending out the certificates too. But he's a really wonderful individual, and I was happy to meet him through BNN.
Thank you. Thank you for nominating him. That was very special. Thank you. Councilmember O'Brien.
Yes, through the mayor. No, just I want to replicate, what my colleagues have said. I just want to thank everyone in the city of Burlingame that has served in the military. And Mayor Ortiz, you will have actually a very nice time at the Truesdale. I luckily had that opportunity last year, and there was a few that just were so pleasantly surprised and very happy that the council would take the time to acknowledge their service. So I am glad you're going to be there in attendance this year.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for that. Looking forward to it. That's going to be a lot of fun. Okay. Anybody else? Having no hands, then we can move to public comment. Madam City Clerk.
I did receive one email from Alice. She says, the intersection El Camino Real / Carmelita here is extremely dangerous. I know it's challenging to make changes on ECR, but there are and have been numerous accidents throughout the day, night since living nearby. I have witnessed this firsthand. I think part of the problem is that people can turn right on red on ECR, and the street is frequently used to avoid Broadway. But it is impossible to see cars coming, so people frequently get T-boned. In the long term, it would be great to fix this somehow on ECR, but in the short term, perhaps there could be no right turns on red onto ECR, or some form of better lights that would improve safety. It is very scary.
Thank you.
And then I don't see any hands raised, so I think we're good to go.
Very good. Thank you, Madam City Clerk. And with that, we will move on to the consent calendar. So colleagues, anybody have any items that would like to pull from the consent calendar? I see no hands, then we can bring it to the members of the public. If there's any member of the public that would wish to pull an item off the consent calendar.
Didn't get any emails, and I don't see any hands raised.
Very good. Then I bring it back to my colleagues. Colleagues, you could looking for a
Mr. Mayor,
motion.
I'd be pleased to make a motion to approve the consent calendar.
And I'll second.
I have a motion by Vice Mayor Brownrigg and a second by Councilmember Beach. Can we have roll call, please?
Councilmember O'Brien,
Yes.
Councilmember Beach,
Yes.
Councilmember Colson,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Brownrigg,
Yes.
Mayor Ortiz.
Yes, thank you. That's a unanimous. So we move on to public hearings. I have an introduction of an ordinance amending chapter 18.30 of the Burlingame Municipal Code to adopt the local amendments to the 2022 California Green Building Standards Code, secret determination exempt pursuant to state secret guidelines, sections 15378 and 15061B3. I believe, is this Mr. Begina? Oh, hello.
Ms. Segal, our sustainability.
Hello,
program manager.
Ms. Segal, please go.
Hi. Thank you for having me tonight. I have a very brief presentation. There's just a couple slides for an overview, so I'll share my screen. that didn't work, right?
Oh, it's not the full screen, but I can see the slide.
Okay, let me try it again.
You might just have to click the presentation button at the bottom of it.
Okay,
Oh, now we can't see it.
yeah. Sorry.
You had it on before. It just was not quite the format, but you can just do what you did before and we'll be able to see the slides.
Okay. Do you guys see it? Yes.
Yes.
Right. Okay, thank you. Sorry about that delay. So we are here tonight as a follow-up to the great study session we had a couple weeks ago. Tonight, I'm bringing you the actual REACH code ordinance as a public hearing. The guidance we got at our study session was to go ahead with Peninsula Clean Energy's recommendation for a model REACH code, which requires building electrification and EV infrastructure in new construction to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. It also meets state mandates and aligns with state policies for electrification and would become effective this January, replacing our existing REACH code. So just as an overview of what we're asking, it's not that different from our existing REACH code. We are doing all new construction for single family homes, multifamily, and commercial. The one large exception is now starting in January 1st in new construction in new single family homes, indoor and outdoor cooking will have to be electric as well. That means fireplaces and gas and ranges and stoves. And then for EV infrastructure, the only big difference here is that we're just asking for more infrastructure to help prepare us for the future. I included here a bit more detail than last time, just to reflect PCE's full model code for us. But in single family homes, it's one parking space with a level 2 outlet, that's like a dryer plug, and one level 1 outlet, which is a regular standard outlet. In multifamily buildings, it's by units of buildings. We want at least 40% to have a level 2 charging station and 60% to have a standard outlet, which means that every unit will have access to charging. And then I won't run through this, but there's different requirements for offices, hotels and motels, other type of commercial spaces, and if a building's adding a new parking facility. So that's really it, all I have to say for tonight. If you have comments and questions, I also have PCE, I think is on the meeting too, to help answer anything specific. Would you like me to keep the share screen, or did you want to see anything?
Let's leave it up just in case somebody
Sure.
wants to go back to any of the slides. But colleagues, anybody have any questions of Segal? Councilmember Colson.
Thank you. Thanks, Segal. So I just have two quick questions. One is regarding the new state law that if you build a 100% affordable house, am I losing this here?
We're kind of losing you there.
Hi, guys. Can you hear me? I'm sorry.
Yeah, we're a little better now. No, we lost you. Okay, colleagues, while we wait for her to get back, anybody have any questions? I don't see any. Oh, there we go. Vice Mayor Brownwig.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So I'm going to phrase a comment in the form of a question for Ms. Sagat, for our Director of Sustainability. There are some other cities where reportedly they are considering actually requiring retrofits on homeowners who are not doing any work at all. And I would like to, if you would, could you just clarify on what kind of construction the all electric requirements are placed?
Sure. So this is for new construction, means entirely a new building, or if there is a large retrofit where 50% of there's another 50% added, I think I have that correct, then that would trigger the building code, because that's what triggers the building code. So it would trigger the reach codes as well.
So it is only in the case where you're either constructing a completely new dwelling or a majority new dwelling that these requirements apply to you.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? I don't know if Councilmember Colson is back. I don't see her. Okay, so with that, then I'm gonna ask the city clerk to please read the title of the proposed ordinance.
All right, sorry, 1 second. An ordinance of the city of Burlingame amending chapter 18.30 of the Burlingame Municipal Code to adopt local amendments to the 2022 California Green Building Standards Code. CEQA determination exempt pursuant to state CEQA guidelines, sections 15378, 15061B3.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to waive further reading and introduce the ordinance.
Thank you. We have a motion by Councilmember Beach. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
And we have a second by Vice Mayor Brownrigg. Can we have a roll call, please?
Councilmember O'Brien,
Aye.
Councilmember Beach,
Yes.
Councilmember Colson. I believe she's having trouble reconnecting. Vice Mayor Brownrigg,
Yes.
Mayor Ortiz.
Yes. So that's gonna be 4 and maybe. So with that, we will move on to conduct a public hearing. So let's see if there's any members of the public that wish to speak on this.
I see 2 hands up, so we'll start with Mr. Leeds.
Perfect, thank you.
Hello, my name is Dashel Leeds. I'm the conservation organizer for the Sierra Club Loma Prieta chapter. We're in strong support of Burlingame's Reach Code update. Gas pipelines are poison. They make new construction more expensive. They make our homes more dangerous to live in, and they poison our future in regards to fighting climate change. We absolutely know that gas pipelines are an issue today and that they're going to be a liability for us in the future. So it's a really smart decision to minimize wherever possible the amounts of new unnecessary gas pipeline infrastructure that we're putting into the ground. So thank you so much for taking the step forward. We think it's necessary in a crisis like this, and it's reasonable for the health of our community. And going forward, we look forward to Burlingame taking stronger action to electrify society down the road. So please continue to explore the partnerships and opportunities that are coming around. There's a lot of great, awesome action happening between the Inflation Reduction Act and all of the exciting opportunities that are popping up with local partnerships. So thank you so much and keep up the good work.
Thank you, Mr. Leeds.
And next we have former Mayor Terry Nagel.
Hi, everyone. Nice to see you all. I just wanted to say thank you so much for eliminating the allowance for methane gas in indoor and outdoor cooking and fireplaces. This is a big step forward toward eliminating carbon emissions in Burlingame. And as many people have already said, it is really important not only for your health, but also for your safety. I wanted to call your attention to a couple of studies that have come out showing that gas stoves emit dangerous fumes that would be considered toxic if outdoors, even when they are not turned on. So it is a really good idea to transfer to electric cooking and other appliances. Thank you very much for your consideration.
Thank you, Mayor Nagel. And any others, Megan?
I don't have any emails and I don't see any other hands up.
Great, thank you. So now we'll bring it back to colleagues for comments. Councilmember Colson, I'm sorry that you got cut off. So if I could bring it back to you.
Thanks, no worries. I just wanted to check on the 100% affordable housing projects. If they don't have parking, how do you handle the requirements? Are they just completely voided, or is it just if they do build, it's the 40%?
Well, if there's no parking, they won't. I don't think they need, I need to be honest, I need to check the ordinance, what it says about affordable housing, or maybe if someone from PCE has that answer off the top of their head, but I know there
I mean, it
is.
would seem logical, right? You wouldn't
Yes.
have to put them in, but I just think it probably needs to call that out somewhere, that if there's a 100% affordable project that opts to not include parking, they would of course be exempt from this type of.
Thank you.
Thank
Is somebody,
you.
do we have any members of the PCE who could have some more information on that?
Philip Kobernick is on. I think he's with PCE.
Yes.
Great, thank you, everyone. Just a quick answer on that question. The REACH codes do not require the creation of parking spaces. It only applies to parking spaces that are planned for construction. So if any type of housing project decides not to build housing or not to build parking for whatever reason, then the EV codes would not apply in those cases.
Thank you. Thank you for the clarification. And with that, colleagues, any other comments? Councilmember Beach, were you, did you raise your hand? No, I thought I saw you raise your
Nope,
hand.
just supportive, giving a thumbs up. We
Oh,
had
okay,
a very
good.
thorough debate in September, feeling good about it. So thank you, colleagues.
Yep,
Public.
agreed. Yeah, and it's funny for the members of the public who are watching this, we did have a long study session about this and we've talked about it many, many times. So, so with that, I will entertain a motion to bring back the ordinance for a second reading and to publish it.
I'll make a motion. I'll make a motion to bring this back for a second reading and to publish.
And I'll second.
We have a motion from Councilmember Coulson and a second from Councilmember Beach. Can we have a roll call, please?
Councilmember O'Brien,
Aye.
Councilmember Beach,
Yes.
Councilmember Coulson,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Brownrigg,
Yes.
Mayor Ortiz.
Yes. Thank you. And Ms. Segal, thank you for all your hard work on this. We really appreciate it. And we moving forward. So with that, we'll move on to item number 10, which is staff reports and communications. And the first one is consideration of 2 appointments to the Beautification Commission. So with that, we're just, let's see, Beautification Commission. Do we just want to text the votes to you, Megan, or?
I can do a little staff report if you want, or you
Beautiful.
And then we should open it up to public comment as well.
Yep, that's right. Thank you.
So you have 2 appointments for the beautification, and that's due to the expiring terms of Commissioners Carol Batty and Marcia Bauer. And you had a resignation, Maria Ribeiro, with 2 years left on her term. You received 3 applicants as of the deadline of September 16th, but unfortunately one of those applicants withdrew her application before you had a chance to do the interviews. So you interviewed 2 people. That still will leave 1 vacancy, Carol Batty and Marcia Bauer. And both of those terms will be for 3 years, and we will need to re-advertise to fill Maria Ribeiro's remainder of her term. So if you could open it up for public comment and then text Megan, that would be great. Thank you.
Very good. So let's go ahead and open it for public comment.
I don't have any emails and I don't see any hands raised, so you're good to go.
Very good. Colleagues, if everybody could take a second and text your choices of the 2.
Okay, Councilmember O'Brien, Carol and Marcia. Councilmember Beach, Carol and Marcia. Councilmember Coulson, Carol and Marcia. Vice Mayor Brownrigg, Carol and Marcia, and Mayor Ortiz, Carol and Marcia.
Good. Thank you very much. And so congratulations to Carol and Marcia for their reappointment. And thank you very much for your service. Now we move on to the consideration of 3 appointments to the Parks and Recreation Commission. Ms. City Manager.
Thank you. So you do have 3 impending vacancies due to the expiring terms of Commissioners Christine Ardito, Ian Milne, and Andrea Papajohn. Commissioner Ardito elected not to reapply. As we always do, we publicized the vacancies. We sent notification letters to past applicants, and we had 7 applications as of the extended deadline. We extended it because we had one commissioner elect not to reapply. So we had 7 applicants, but 1 applicant subsequently withdrew. So you interviewed 6 people back in October: Andrea Papajan, Baba Venkatadri, Cherie Yu, Doug Bojack, Ian Milne, and Jaquetta Lannon. I hope I didn't butcher that name. These are 3-year terms ending in October of 2025. And if you could open that for public comment. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Madam City Clerk, if we could open it for public comment.
I don't have any emails and I don't see any hands raised.
Thank you. So colleagues, if we could just text Megan our choices. And while we're waiting, I just want to thank everybody who applied. We had a very, very good group of applicants for this one, and I look forward to seeing you at other applications. So that would be great. Thank you for your interest.
All right, Councilmember O'Brien, Andrea Papajan, Ian Milne, and Sherry Yu. Councilmember Beach, Andrea Papajan, Ian Milne, and Baba Venkatadri. I hope I didn't slaughter that. Councilmember Colson, Andrea Papajan, Ian Milne, and Sherry Yu. Vice Mayor Brownrigg, Ian Milne, Andrea Papajan, and Sherry Yu, and Mayor Ortiz, Andrea Papajan, Ian Milne, and Sherry Yu. So it looks like Andrea Papajan, Ian Milne, and Sherry Yu.
Very good. Thank you. Congratulations on Mr. Milne and Ms. Papajan for their reappointment. And Ms. Yu, welcome. Hopefully you are listening tonight. And so congratulations. And to the other applicants, please, I hope you don't get discouraged and you come back and apply for some of our other openings. We really appreciate your interest, so thank you for that. With that, we move on to consideration of 1 appointment to the Traffic Safety and Parking Commission. And I think I'll pass it on to our city manager for the introduction.
This is a short and sweet one. You have the expiring term of Commissioner John Martos. As we always do, we publicized the vacancy and sent notification letters. We received 2 applications, but 1 withdrew. That's a theme tonight. So you interviewed John Martos, our incumbent applicant, a couple weeks ago, and this appointee term is for 3 years ending on November 6th, 2026. Thanks.
Excellent. Thank you. That makes it a very tough decision. And with that, I'm going to pass it to our city clerk for any
Actually, if we
public
can
comment.
do public comment and then.
That's right. That's
Oh,
what I
sorry.
was doing. City clerk for public comment.
So I don't have any emails and I don't see any hands raised for this item.
Very good. And then with that, if we could just text our choice to Ms. Hasselshire.
So I have Councilmember O'Brien, John Martos, Councilmember Beach, John Martos, Councilmember Colson, John Martos, Vice Mayor Brownrigg, John Martos, and Mayor Ortiz, John Martos.
Mr. Martos, thank you so much for reapplying and for all your service. And we are very fortunate to have you serving in our commission. So thank you for that. And with that, we move on to item number, that would be 10D, which is adoption of a resolution supporting the submission of grant applications for the California Drive Class 1 Bicycle and Pedestrian Improvement Project, Occidental Avenue Bicycle and Pedestrian Improvement Project, and the South Rollins Road Traffic Calming Project under the San Mateo County Transportation Authority, A&W Pedestrian and Bicycle Improvement Programs, and committing matching funds for each project if awarded the TA funds. And with that, I pass it on to Mr. Syed Murtuza, our Public Works Director.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and City Council. Good to be here. First and foremost, before I begin the brief presentation, I'd like to say that the city has been awarded these grants as we applied. And so that's a great news. And I have with me Andrew Yang, who's senior engineer, was the lead project team and putting together these applications. And so this is all his good work. Beginning essentially as the title read, the projects are from the San Mateo County Measure A and W pedestrian and bicycle programs. The call for projects was issued in August with a deadline on September 23rd. The maximum, each city could submit up to maximum 3 projects totaling up to $5 million. And then there were also criteria for small projects and large projects, and there was also matching requirements. Staff looked at our existing capital infrastructure needs and looked at the grant requirements, and we consulted the Transportation Authority staff regarding the projects that we have on our list from the city's bicycle pedestrian master plan, and also other needs that have emerged since the development of the plan. And based on the criteria of the grant and also the eligibility requirements, and also input from our Transportation Authority staff identified 3 strong projects that have great chance of receiving funds and submitted those projects. Those 3 projects are California Drive, a bicycle pedestrian improvement project, and then also I'll discuss each of those projects briefly. In your attachment to the staff report, you have a sketch of each of these projects. For California Drive, this is a bicycle pedestrian, basically a class 1 path from Oak Grove to Burlingame Avenue. And as you may recall that a few years ago, city added class 2 bike lane between Murchison Avenue and Broadway. And city has a long-term plan to make the entire stretch of California Drive a separated bike path. But that was the first project we did as an initial installment towards a goal. And the second project the city council approved, and which is in the final stages of design and will be in construction soon, will be a 2-way bike path or a class 4 facility between Broadway and Oak Grove. And this will be connecting to that 2-way bicycle track from Oak Grove to Burlingame Avenue, and will complete the complete cycle track. And staff will be following other segments of California Drive later on. And this project is also scored high because California Drive in Burlingame serves as an alternate route to El Camino Real. El Camino is a backbone for the county, and in Burlingame, due to several constraints, bicycle facilities are not being installed as part of Caltrans project. However, California Drive is going to be a better alternative, and so it received higher points. This project will essentially receive a lot of support from the city's bicycle pedestrian committee as well, and traffic safety commission, and was also the local schools and community members also have supported this project, and it was also identified in the city's general plan update in 2019. The project was with the estimated cost is $1.8 million. We're looking at approximately $1.62 million from Measure A and W funds. The remaining $180,000 will be coming from cities as a local match. The next project is Occidental Avenue bicycle pedestrian improvements. This project was also a project that was originally identified in the city's bike path master plan. It connects the southern part of city with San Mateo to the residential neighborhood and connects to Chapin Avenue in the north. And essentially it's a class 3 bicycle neighborhood bike route. And also there are some concerns regarding traffic safety and traffic calming issues, pedestrian issues along Occidental Avenue and near the intersections of Ralston and Chapin. And this project will address those pedestrian safety concerns. As part of the grant condition, the Transportation Authority staff would like to have the city include additional traffic calming measures that have not been studied yet at this point, and staff will be looking at that as part of the project development. The cost of this project is approximately $600,000, and the city will be receiving approximately $420,000, and the city will need to provide a matching funds in the amount of $180,000. The next project is South Rollins Road traffic calming project. This project, the limit will be from Broadway all the way to Burlingame Avenue. And as we all know, Rollins Road is a arterial street and is a one-lane road in each direction, connects to several residential neighborhood, but there has always been traffic speeding concerns in this area, safety concerns, and is also identified in the high injury network, one of the high injury network streets in the city. And as a result, staff identified this project for traffic calming improvements and for the amount of $630,000. In terms of the grant money, we will be receiving $440,000. Remaining $190,000 will be for city matching fund. The scope of this project will include some channelizers, some chicanes, which are essentially reducing the road width in certain area to lower this traffic speed limits near the intersections and halfway between intersections, so that we can see we can have appreciable reduction in traffic speeds in the neighborhood. And the project will be done in the initial phase of the project will be rubberized improvements, which are easy to install and remove. Quick build improvements, but also if these improvements work better, the city can then come back with the future grants to install full complete concrete, concrete infrastructure that will have landscaping and other elements. With that, I will stop here or pause here for any questions from council. Again, the funds for city matching funds will be determined at a future date as to which fund it will come exactly. But generally, we have identified that to be a city general fund and possibly other transportation funds that the city receives through other programs. But primarily, I would say just city general fund in future fiscal year budget will be programmed.
So I'm sorry. So what I'm not clear on what is the amount of the city contribution?
For these total 3 projects, the total city contribution is roughly $550,000. Okay. The total project cost is $3,030,000.
Very good. Thank you so much. Colleagues, anybody have any questions for Mr. Martuza? And if not, I do have, I'm just curious about how that works. You said that the Occidental project was approved with a condition that we do conduct more traffic calming procedures, but you said they haven't been studied. What if we study them and there is nothing that's feasible? Does that mean we don't get the funding?
No, it's not that we don't get the funding. The initial concepts that we have identified, the evaluation committee at the Transportation Authority panel felt that there could be speed cushions, there could be other elements that could be installed as part of the project. So those are some of the things that we will study as part of the concept, as part of the project development. But the funding has been approved as outlined. What the conditions will do is to essentially allow the city to work on developing the project in consultation with the Transportation Authority consultant, which will oversee our effort and see whether we are doing feasible traffic calming and reasonable traffic calming improvements.
Great, thank you. I see Council Member O'Brien.
Through the mayor, so to piggyback on that, Director Martuza, when would we start those studies and how long would that take, do you think?
Just before I answer that question, I'd like to let you know that the funding, once the next step in the process is that the Transportation Authority and the city will enter into an agreement funding, and then the design will begin as part of the next year's work program. And it will take, I would say, probably middle of next year to once we start the project, it will take about 3 to 4 months of time to come to those conclusion what improvements are needed.
Thank you. Colleagues, anybody else have any questions? And seeing none, then I will send it to our city clerk for any public comment.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have one email from Doug Bojack. He says, I applaud city staff for addressing the excessively large intersection at Occidental and Ralston in the Occidental Ave concept plan. Although I would ask staff to consider that adding the proposed slip lane, which allows cars traveling west of Ralston to make a right-hand turn north onto Occidental without stopping, is in fact including a dangerous design for pedestrians that Transportation for America and other people first transportation groups are attempting to eliminate. Adding in one of these dangerous slip lanes in a proposed pedestrian safety project runs counter to the purpose of the design. There is no call to prioritize vehicle throughput in this pedestrian project, and by shifting the island north to close that slip lane, cars should be able to make the right turn from a safe stop at the reduced size intersection. Furthermore, I do not believe the plan shows the proposed pedestrian safety upgrades at the intersection of Occidental and Chapin. To that end, I wish to note that the angled intersection there creates 60 to 80 feet of crossing distance with no pedestrian protection or prioritization. And I recommend the city eliminate the slip lane on Chapin for pedestrian safety by using bulb out curb extensions, painted and with planters, bollards, or delineators at the very least, to improve pedestrian daylighting and increase vehicle turning radii to decrease vehicle speed. With this improvement and the addition of continental style zebra sidewalks and yield to pedestrian and crosswalk mid-crossing signs installed on Occidental Avenue, this neighborhood will be much safer for me and my family.
Thank you. Mr. Martuzzo, would you like to comment on any of his comments?
Those are great, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to respond to saying that those are great comments and staff will actually review that. The concept plan that are identified is not a final plan. It's just a initial concept. The slip lane that is shown for at Ralston intersection will be evaluated for whether we can put a complete stop sign to just like for the rest of the intersection. And we'll also look at minimizing the pedestrian crossing distances, which right now we have been able to enlarge the island to allow for pedestrian refuge, but we do need to look at that to see if we can further reduce that. But we will. Those are great comments. Again, we will review that and we will see what we can do.
Very good. Thank you so much. And Madam City Clerk, did we forward those comments to Public Works, to Mr. Martuzzo and Mr. Wong?
Do that right now, and I got one more email in.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
This one's from Benito, and he says, thank you for the opportunity to see these plans and grants. I wonder if there is an opportunity for the public to know about these locations, these plans and grant applications before today. Was this presented to Teaspoon or otherwise socialized for public input by some other venue? It is the first time the public has been shown these plans. It would be helpful to hear about how these applications were put together with public input.
Great, thank you. Mr. Martuzzo, would you care to comment on that?
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, once staff identified these applications and these were presented, the project concepts were presented to the Traffic Safety Commission meeting, and subsequently the number of community members have provided support for the projects that included schools and as well as I believe several organizations also submitted the Bicycle Coalition, Silicon Valley Bicycle Coalition. They also presented support letters as well. So it went through public comment, public process.
Very good. So it was presented at Teaspoon and there was opportunity for the public to comment.
That's correct.
Very good. Okay, Madam City Clerk, any other comments? None? With that, then I will bring it back to my colleagues to see if anybody has any final comments, or we could just make a motion to approve these the grant applications.
You have some hands up, Mr. Mayor.
Very good. I'm
Beach,
going
and
to
then
start with
Councilmember
Councilmember Beach. You see it from both sides. You see it from the TA side and you see it from our side. So please.
No, thank you for the opportunity, Mr. Mayor. I just want to applaud colleagues on council for having the policy vision to put forth and pass that bicycle pedestrian master plan a couple of years ago. It's that kind of document and public outreach, and staff worked so hard to pull that together for us that enables us to really qualify and understand what our priorities are so we can get these grants. And really, there is what's so exciting right now, for the first 10 years of Measure A, this past cycle, bike ped grants hovered around $5 to $6 million. And the last cycle was about 7 million. We had 17 million to give away because of Measure W and Measure A. Plus there's more money coming from the federal government. Plus there's more money coming from the states. But we could never get these awards if staff didn't have really a heads up play and put the effort into having our bike ped master plan and then pulling together these really powerful grant applications. So the fact that our staff worked so hard to actually deliver on those applications when there's projects and criteria that meet some of what we're trying to do in the city, it's just so exciting that we're getting this kind of dollars in. So thank you to staff, and it's great to see some projects in different parts of the city too. It's great we're building up California Drive, but to see one coming in the Occidental area and on Rollins as well. So I just want to thank staff for their hard work and colleagues for supporting this.
Thank you, Councilmember Beach. Councilmember Colson.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. Yes, I just want to acknowledge and appreciate that staff has listened to the neighbors that I have. I walk that Occidental Chapin area every day, at least once or twice. And it's a very awkward and uncomfortable both to drive and to bike and to walk that area. So prioritizing that has been terrific. And I know my neighbors and all the people that live in that neighborhood are going to really appreciate this new fresh look. And also just great leverage on city dollars. Thanks for turning $500,000 into $3.3 million. It's the way to do it. And I sincerely appreciate that as one of your financial people who's constantly looking at the budget. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Well said. Mr. Martuzza, I see your hand raised.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to thank Councilmember Colson for her support, because she was working behind the scenes to get some letters of support from school folks for Occidental as well as California and other streets as well. Thank you for that. And thank you for Councilmember Beach for her support at the TA for behind the scenes work to get us these dollars on project in, project again. Just in the last 3 months, we have received, essentially identified to receive about a little over $5 million, which is a huge deal for a small city like Burlingame.
Very good. Thank you, sir. And thank you to Public Works, or everybody, Mr. Wong and Mr. Martuzza, for their hard work and being there to get this for us, because there's a lot of people who weren't prepared and weren't ready. So we were, and we got the money. So thank you. And thank you for Councilmember Colson and Councilmember Beach for helping out. So here we go, guys. I need a motion to approve the attached resolutions. Can we do all three of them? Can we do all three of them at once, Mr. City Attorney?
Yes, if the motion is clear that it's for all three at the same time, then yes.
Very good. So the Councilmember Colson, do you want to make it real clear that it's for all three?
Sure, certainly. So I would like to make a motion to approve all three of these pedestrian and bike auto safety measures throughout the city. Do you need me to list each one, or are we okay with that?
No, I think we're good, unless he shakes his head. He's saying good. So with that, I'm looking for a second.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Councilmember Colson, a second by Councilmember Beach. Could we please have a roll call?
Councilmember O'Brien,
Yes.
Councilmember Beach,
Yes.
Councilmember Colson,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Brownrigg,
Yes.
Mayor Ortiz.
Yes, so it's unanimous. And once again, Mr. Martuzza, thank you to you and all your staff for the hard work. So that's going to make a big difference in our city. So thank you. And with that, we move on to item number 11, which is council committee and activity reports and announcements. So colleagues, this is your opportunity. And I don't see any raised hands. We are all very busy in our additional responsibilities, and we will provide reports. So with that, colleagues, any future agenda items? I don't see any hands raised. So we move on to acknowledgements, the agenda packets and meeting minutes of the Planning Commission, Traffic Safety Parking Commission, Beautification Commission, Parks and Recreation Commission, and the Library Board of Trustees are available online at www.burlingame.org. And with that, we're moving on to the adjournment. I just want to make sure the colleagues, is there anybody we need to remember in our adjournment? And I see nobody raising their hands. With that, Councilmember Colson. Oh, no, you did not.
Yes. So I just wanted to mention, I don't have a lot of details yet on her obituary service, but again, the Martin family.
I'm sorry we lost you again. Well, I do have one young man who died tragically through an accident, and his name is Chris Perez, who is a kind of distant relative, but he grew up in Burlingame his whole life. The family's all from Burlingame, and again, very tragic event. A 34-year-old who died sooner than he should have. So with that, I'll ask you for a minute of silence for Mr. Chris Perez. Thank you for that. And with that, we are adjourned.